Hey guys, it's Julie and Andrew here with Cable Bullet, and today we wanted to show you some of the new updates on our stainless steel Venture Series posts, as well as give a quick demo on how to install Handrail with these new updates. Let's get right into it. We've got a new post top design for our Venture Series posts, new clamps that make installation easier, and a new way of splining together pieces of handrail that makes for fewer cuts.
So we've got our new post top design, which is a lot more minimal looking. It matches the look of our Signature Series posts. You don't have to break your handrail over the post. You don't have to cut it right over the post. You can actually keep splining it. So there's a lot less waste when it comes to your handrail. It's a lot easier to work with, and we really love the look of the much simpler design as well.
Our next update is going to be for the clamp for installing handrail on both Signature and Venture Series line posts. This is currently available at cablebullet.com.
Yeah, I really like this clamp a lot because it makes the process of installing the handrail on those line posts a lot easier. Before, you really had to hold it in place or put together other clamps, and it was an inelegant solution. So we've really refined this clamp, and I think it's going to make installing handrail so much easier on your longer runs. And our last update is for our new spline design.
Yeah, overall, this reduces a lot of waste while you're on the job site. It's also structural, meaning that you can break anywhere along the span.
Yeah, it just makes it so much more install friendly. So to reiterate everything here, we've got a new post top design that maintains a minimal look while giving you a stronger connection to your handrail. We have a clamp to make installing handrail on your line posts easier, and likewise, we've got new splines that are simpler to install when joining sections of handrail together. With those updates out of the way, let's take a look at installing some Venture Series handrail. We're out here on our deck, and as you can see, we've already got all of our posts in place. So our next step is to install our handrail. The process for this will have us set our tensioning post tops on our handrail, bring our handrail in, drill and tap the holes for our line posts, and then move on to do the same with our stair section. For our first step, we need to measure 1/4 inch from the end of the handrail to the start of the post top. Since we know exactly where the post top will be, we can go ahead and drill and tap those holes now. We really want to make sure our handrail screws aren't interfering with our end cap, so we'll make sure the handrail screw holes are lining up in a square on the handrail and not a diamond. We'll mark our first hole, remove the post top, and then drill a pilot hole with a 5/32 inch drill bit. Now that our hole is drilled, we need to tap it with a 1024 National Course tap. This can be done with either a drill or a hand tap. The tap will self-advance as we turn it clockwise. Running the tap through once should be fine, but we're going to run it through a second time just to make sure our threads are nice and clean. With one hole taken care of, we'll bring the post top back in and secure it in place with a single screw to hold it. This makes it much easier to drill and tap the remaining 3 holes. Once that's done, we'll set the post top in place with the remaining 3 handrail screws. With our layout, we have a 90-degree corner which requires 2 end posts. Corners can have a bit of nuance to them, so our process here will be to cut our handrail and assemble the whole corner joint before screwing anything together. With our uncut handrail stick from before, we'll set it on the end post, allowing the excess handrail to overhang the deck. Next, we'll bring in a second piece of handrail and lay it perpendicular to the first, setting it on the next end post. We'll use a straight edge to mark the inside point where these 2 pieces meet. This is where we'll be making a 45-degree miter cut. Here we're using a speed square since that will allow us to easily mark the 45-degree angle. Next, we'll go ahead and make that cut using our bandsaw. Normally we would use the cutoff piece to continue our handrail by flipping it over, but our cutoff is less than 12 inches long. As a result, we're cutting a fresh piece of handrail at the same 45-degree angle. To join the 2 pieces together, we'll take our fixed Delrin corner spline and insert it into the first piece of handrail before sliding the second piece on. It's absolutely critical that we get the positioning of the post tops just right, so we're going to bring this whole assembly into place and mark the location of those post tops with a fine point pencil. Now we'll secure both of the post tops in place. Following the same steps as before, mark, drill, and tap the first hole. Then, drill, tap, and set the remaining holes. When drilling, you want to make sure you're going deep enough into the Delrin spline so that your screws aren't sitting proud of the post top. Once both of those tops are secure, we'll bring the whole assembly into place and secure the set screws with an 1/8 inch Allen wrench. With this section of handrail secure, we're ready to continue on to our next span, which will require us to attach our line posts. To do that, we'll bring in our clamps to simplify the process. First, we'll secure the clamps in place with the nylon screws on top. Next, we'll set the first screw foot in place against the post top. We'll use the other foot to secure the handrail in place. With our handrail and post top clamped, we'll drill and tap one pilot hole using the same tools as earlier. You can see here, we're just going right through the holes on the post top itself into the handrail. We're just setting it with a single screw for now before we confirm the final placement. We'll repeat this process on every line post. As you can see, we need to bring in another stick of handrail and repeat the process to continue our installation. We need to insert a structural spline into the installed handrail. For our spline, we'll take the two pieces of aluminum and set them on either side of the handrail. We'll push them in until the notch is equal with the end of the handrail. Now we'll take the Delrin wedge and insert it between the two aluminum pieces until it's flush with the handrail. If we needed to tighten or loosen the spline, we'd adjust the screw. Backing it out will increase the tightness, while advancing the screw will loosen it. Any adjustments we make will be very slight, just enough to get it snug. Because this is a structural spline and we finalized everything up to this point, we're good to secure all the posts we've done. Now we can go through and drill, tap, and set the second hole of any line posts we've done up to this point. If we had any end posts along this span, we'd simply tighten the set screw on the collar of the tensioning post tops. Now we're ready to repeat the process until our handrail is done. So that's how you'd handle level sections. Let's take a quick look at installing handrail on stairs.
The biggest concept to remember when installing your stairs is where to make your bevel cut. For our tensioning post, that's going to be at the face of the post where the cable inflection point is. For the line post, we need to make the bevel cut at the edge of the post top. The angle of our bevel cut is going to be half of the pitch of our stairs. To find that angle, we'll run a straight edge from inflection point to inflection point. Now we'll come in with a speed square and a level. We'll adjust the speed square until we're showing as level, and that's the pitch of our stairs. For our stairs, that's 30 degrees. We'll divide that in half to get our angle of 15 degrees. We'll set our saw to that number and make our bevel cuts. Lastly, we will need to build some custom splines to hold these joints together. We've covered how to make these splines in a separate video. Hit the link at the corner or in the description to check that out. From the inflection point to the end of the post top, the spline will measure 1.5 inches. This will involve cutting through the screws that hold the spline together. Because of how this handrail comes together with our Delrin splines, we need to assemble everything before drilling any of our post top holes. When we are ready, we'll attach our post tops through our splines. If we were in a position where we had a corner joint that just turned either up or down stairs, we would then need to cut our corner spline short to make room for the custom spline that holds the vertical joint together. And there you have it. That's our updated process for installing handrail on Venture Series posts. Let us know if you have any questions in the comments below, or give us a call if you have any questions specific to your project. Start your project today at cablebullet.com.